Hi guys, me again. Okay, so today we're going to do day 5. So you are not doing this unless you have completed day 4, turned it in, I looked at it and said you're good to go. Please do not do this step if you've not done that. It's very important so that we can kind of keep each other on track and make sure you don't get kind of thrown off. Otherwise, it's going to throw your whole drawing off. So I am going with the drawing that I have started the other day. I did the eyes yesterday. You should have too. Today I'm going to put in the nose, my nose now. So it's going to be a little bit different. We have the general placement of the nose, but we're going to see, and this isn't going to be a big step. This is a small step, but we're going to see if your general placement matches your actual nose. Because as we know, our faces are all different. These are just guidelines on where things should go. So I'm going to turn you towards the mirror here. I've been using an HB still. I never told you that. I didn't tell you that yesterday. Just because I'm not doing anything with value yet, so I'm still trying to keep it kind of light. These are now my facial, not the best day for this, but these are my facial features, so I'm trying to just make them look more like me and less like some stock drawing of how faces are supposed to look. Okay, so again, I'm in front of my mirror. I'm nice and close. I'm going to spend more time actually looking at the mirror than I do at my drawing. And so what I'm trying to see today, I'm going to look, allergies, I don't know if I want you looking at my nose right now, but I'm going to look at the actual shape of my nostrils as opposed to just a generic circle. My nostrils are a mess, but they're actually like a little triangle shaped. I don't know if you can see that or tell that. I still don't know how to work my head on this thing. So they are longer this way, back to front, but they're also in kind of like a little triangle. And so that's what I'm going to try to do today, is figure out where they go. And then I'm also just going to lightly place in the nostril hoods, just so I know where it is. Because if you look at my nose, or your nose, or any nose, if you look at a nose, you'll see there aren't any lines on it. It's all done with value and shading. So for now, I'm just trying to figure it out. We decided that the eye was going to be our true. Remember that term? And that's how we're going to base everything else off of the size of the eye and where the eye is placed. So now I am looking at myself in the mirror, and I notice that, which we know is very typical of most eyes, but I noticed that if I were to take a line and I were to go from the corner of my eye, the very corner of my tear duct, and do that straight line down there, it's the outside of the hood of our nose. And we know that because we already did that. So I'm going to make adjustments, because I made adjustments on my eyes when I actually made them look like mine. So I'm just going to redraw that line down from the corner. Okay, so that I know now is, since I did adjust my eyes, I am going by these eyes being mine. They're my true, so now I had to adjust my nose. So that's going to be the outer hoods of my nose. And if you notice my nose is pretty narrow, which you could you could probably agree if you look at it, that my nose is rather narrow. So that's going to be my starting point. The next thing I really have to consider is my nose actually exactly 1/2 down from my eye? So I'm going to look at that, and if I were to put my line across my eyes, I would say that my nose is a little bit higher. So not quite halfway down, which is where I have it, because that's your standard. But I would say that the bottom of my nose, yeah, it's pretty close. I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to leave it at the halfway mark, because it really does depend on things like if I put my head down, if I put my head up. It's going to change where it exactly is, but if I keep my head very stationary and try to make it as straight on as possible. This part where the hood attaches to the upper lip, that's pretty much halfway there. So I'm going to go with that. Okay, so since I have that already in there, the thing I'm going to consider now is putting in my nostrils. How thick, first of all, how much of it do I see with this, my head being held this way? So I'm not seeing a lot, and I know that my hood is, can you see my drawing? I know that my hood's coming to this side, so I'm going to make sure that I'm leaving room for that. And it kind of curves. It's triangle, but it's like curved at the top triangle. Same with this side. And it comes pretty much to a point here. Remember, we're not symmetrical. Your nostrils might be different shapes. Take that into consideration. How much space do you have between your two nostrils? That's another thing to consider. Mine's pretty much an upside down V. Just like these are upside down V's, if you invert it, it would go right in there. It would sit in there. Now I'm gonna put the hood in. And this is a very small part, but an important part to get it to look like you. And I'm going to do it on this side as well. So when I'm doing this, I'm going to consider, and I'll show you, let me finish this and I'll show you. Okay, so as I'm doing this, there's things I got to consider. How much, and this would be black in here, because this is a nostril, it's a hole in my head, so it's going all the way up. I can make that black and curve it out a little bit too. What's the shape of this hood? Does it curve up? Or is it kind of flat? There's different ways that that might be represented. And then what about here? When we get to the outside of the nostril, how thick is this part? Okay, mine's pretty narrow, and it goes pretty quickly right up there. Then I have indents in there too, but that's going to be done with value. I'll see if there's any more information that I can put in here for now. I have like a little bit of a ball on the end of my nose. Excuse me. And I'll try to get that in there a little bit, not much, because I'm just pretty much doing this so I have a placement for when I start to put my value in. All right. So this is all I have for my nose right now. And that's enough, because I'm going to make sure that I get this part nice and dark, that I show that there's this kind of ball on the end, and that it indents on either side. I don't know if you can see that, but but it indents on either side. And that's how I'm going to build my nose. But I'm just leaving it there for now. As I'm looking at my picture, I'm thinking it might be a little too low. So I'm going to pull it up a little bit. I'm going to bring it up. I'm not going to erase it. I'm just going to bring it up a little bit for now. Tiny bit. And I'll show you how I do that. And as I said, I could keep changing the way it looks just by moving my head. So I have to be careful that it's not, that's not the issue. That it actually is because I needed to fix it. So I just, as you can see, I have like double nostrils there. So I'm going to erase the old ones. And then I'm going to go back in and I'm going to erase all these lines that are the old lines and make sure I know where my new lines are. And then I'm just going to keep it there for now. It still might be a little bit low, and I might decide to adjust it later. But as we've discussed, my face is very long, so we'll see if that's something that needs to be adjusted as we go. So this is really all you should have for your day 5 for your nose, because we're going to go in with value. So please don't go any further than that as far as your nose. Make sure you complete this step. I can adjust it a little bit. Complete this step and turn it into me so that I can have a look and let you know that you're ready to go on to step 6, which is going to be our mouth. And again, we're just placing all of our features so that we can start to make this look a little bit more like us and not like a how-to manual. Okay. All right. So have a great day, guys. I will see you tomorrow or whenever I post this or whenever you get to it. But keep drawing. I know that this is challenging. I hope everybody is doing well. If you need anything or you need me, I am on the computer from 8 to 12 every day. You can pop on and I will definitely answer. Okay. Hope you're doing well. Where's my mouse? All right. I'll talk to you tomorrow.